So let's move on to this now. The Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development, I'm pretty sure that they've been separated, those departments. Well, that department has visited the Free State farmers affected by inclement weather last week. The department conducted profiling, livestock management and annual health information in parts of the Free State. Let's look now at the impact of the inclement weather on the farming communities in the province. Some farmers, we are told, have lost livestock in the Koppies and Heilbron areas. One female farmer in Heilbron has suffered a major setback after losing 21 cattle. According to the African Farmers Association, AFASA, the loss is likely to have a significant impact on her farming operations and could set her back financially. Let's pick up the story with SABC News reporter Kamohelo Tsotetsi, who's been tracking it all. Kamohelo, good evening and thank you for your time. Paint a picture for us. Last week, we were talking about the weather making the news, and the Free State wasn't spared, particularly southern Free State, and we started seeing glimpses of, over and above the difficulties this brought on in terms of disruptions to human life and activities. Actually, there was a cost as far as agriculture is concerned.
Good evening to you, Tulasizwe, as well as our viewers at home. Actually, you've rightly stated that, the Free State was not spared. You can remember that the first time, actually last week, we went over to the southern side of the province where we found out that strong winds had actually blown a lot of roofs over on that side. We went to Edinburgh. That's where we found out that there were strong winds, which is on the southern side of the province. And then you can also remember that on the eastern side, there were heavy snows. But fortunate enough, there were no incidents of accidents or crashes that were reported. Now, over to the northern side, that's where we were actually today. We visited Koppies as well as Dennisville, and the other one was Heilbron. And these are actually on the northern side of the province, which fall under the district municipality of Fezile Dabi. And over there, when we went there, Tulas, we found that the animals had already died. I mean, they died last week on Tuesday, we are told. That lady actually who had about more than 100 cattle, she says she lost about 21 of her cattle, and she has estimated that there may be worth about 400,000. And another farmer that we spoke to had lost about 12 of her cattle. And this, as you've stated, that it has a very major setback in terms of, because what they said they are trying to do is to create generational wealth. So they say this is a really major setback. And we also had a conversation with AFASA, as you stated there, the head of rural. The head of rural committee, the land reform committee, Mr. Mutepu, told us that they are actually calling on the government to label or to declare this incident as a disaster, considering the number that they told us. AFASA claiming that there are about 500 livestock that lost their lives over there on the northern side of the province.
Sure, that's a massive number there. About 500 estimated by AFASA. What are the circumstances? Are they able to paint a picture? Because we are saying it was cold weather, and I think we pretty much can imagine what the circumstances were. But I imagine that the farmers are able to talk to it a bit more in terms of ability or otherwise to provide any shelter in times of that inclement weather, resulting in these kinds of tragic losses that they are reporting.
On top of the cold, Tulas, it's actually the fact that, since it's winter, the grass is changing its color. It's turning orange now. And according to some of the farmers, that means the nutrients that usually the grass have subsided or there's a lack of nutrients, considering protein and all those other nutrients and minerals that cows or cattle need. They're saying that affected them, considering that since the grass has less nutrients, it means that they're going to use more energy to try and keep warm during the cold. So hence some of the cattle could not sustain themselves during that cold weather.
All right. Thank you for that update. And hopefully we'll be hearing a bit more about what kind of interventions are possible in that particular situation to try and see if the farmers can get any kind of assistance. Kamohelo, thank you for that reporting. Kamohelo Tsotetsi reporting there from the Free State